young gun with the quick fuse. I was uptight, wanna let loose. I was dreaming of bigger things and wanna leave my old life behind.
Welcome to the latest edition of Ranger Nation Radio, presented by AFC Urgent Care, the right care, right now. I am Tim Wood, editor of Loop Weekly, sitting side by side of my cohort here, Bill Bryant, the ever-shrinking Bill Bryant. How are you, sir?
It's going very well.
All right, so listen,
Point the mic at you, Bill, first.
You look...
There you go.
You look even, I say this to like my 8-year-old. Like you look like you grew you look like you grew 5 inches overnight. Stop it. Like you look like you lost 10 pounds since I saw you on Monday.
I have not, but I appreciate that, and it's just
brother. Where are we at? Give us the update.
We're a shy under 260, which it's taken me about 10 days to get into the 260.
And that's
mark.
down how many?
That is down about 45 pounds.
Brother.
Holy cow.
So
congratulations.
That's
you look
phenomenal.
great too. It shows.
You really do. I mean, serious. I mean, are you using any I listen, like
Absolutely
New England
not.
Fat Loss, Awaken 3
nothing at all.
80? What I mean, no.
For some of my friends, actually, someone Steve Levesque, him and I were chatting about it, and I told him bread and sugar. He goes, Bill, that's what I've been saying for 20 years. Steve is just a health guy, but his big thing is obviously working out. But it's, just eating right.
I did 60 pounds like 3 years ago. And it was basically, I decided a 500-calorie deficit a day. I could eat whatever I want as long as I burned 500 more. And then I got going, and I got it up to 1,000. And then it's just as I put it, just don't be stupid 100% of the time.
Exactly.
Don't
For me,
eat
I've
stupid
yo-yoed,
100% of the time.
so
Yeah.
that was my concern, doing this, and I don't see that happening because it's just finding out food that I like that's better for me and staying away from the stuff that, let's be honest, I know that pizza and those things aren't great, so it's picking my spots and choosing.
Plus, you're a jock and a competitor, so once you got this rolling, you want to keep it rolling, right?
Absolutely.
You gain momentum and you just get going.
But then, you have your setback, and the same thing can happen the other way. And that's the part that I'm still enjoying myself. I still go out. I have a good time and hang out, but it's picking your spots. And during the week, it's eat and make sure that you're being healthy. And that's really been the plan. And it's working, and, getting healthier for myself, my wife and kids, and having good energy for stuff like this that right now, Mr. Wood, this is going to test us because the energy is going to be needed over the next few months, and there's just a lot going on, and I'm going to keep a positive. We have a great guest tonight.
Great
doing
guest.
some great things, and the athletes are still out there competing, and Ranger Nation is still strong, and we're going to be positive, but we also have to talk a little bit about some of the dirt and some of the things that are going to set us back a little bit.
Behind the glass, Lou Blassie, that you heard him before. How are you tonight, sir?
Doing very well.
So, Bill is. I don't know if you were doing a show right before this.
Yeah.
Bill is referring to my Facebook video right before this. I was on for about an hour before this.
I saw it pop up, but obviously I didn't get a chance to watch it, and I'm very I'm very
tuned
excited.
in.
It's so much fun being on the fridge of this right now.
I tuned in just to see how my friend was going to be before the 7 o'clock show, and as a guy who gets credited for having a lot of emotion and a lot of passion, and that has hurt me at times and caused me some difficulty and trouble. You know what? You can't take that away, Tim. Don't change. Don't lose it. Don't apologize, because you said it without even knowing. People have to get involved. And when you get involved and you peel back the onion and there's things there that you don't like, you have two choices. You can run and hide, or you can stand up and get in the way. And for the people that do, you get a lot of pushback, you get a lot of criticism, and you know what? People have to be stronger and handle that.
This has been a week where the onion has been peeled back even further. And it's, so let's start with the positives, okay? I thought that after all of the social media uproar and for good reason. I thought that the Monday meeting was amazing in terms of the turnout, in terms of just the way that it was run. I know you couldn't have said it better when you got up towards the end of the meeting. Huge credit to Chairwoman Jennifer Canan and the City Council for the way that they ran things and listened to and gave the families and the residents the platform for as long as they possibly could. They extended the meeting. It's typically rule that you have to be done by 11 p.m. in these meetings, and they can motion to extend it, and they did. And it went. The meeting. I'd say the public comment. You were the trooper. You were there for right through about 11, right?
Yep.
And it ended soon right after that, and so the entire meeting went till about 11:25. So
I went home and watched the final 10 minutes.
Yeah, and then Tuesday night was, fireworks. Not really. I thought that there was a lot of really good questions asked. I think the takeaway from it was that it's going to be very difficult to vote on things next Tuesday. I doubt that there will be a vote next Tuesday because there's still a lot of questions on the school side and there's still a lot of questions on the police side. It does seem like there's some light at the end of the tunnel in terms of the police. It's just a question of the reportedly and Chief Solomon said this Tuesday that he reached out to the Superior Officers Union and made an offer or negotiated an offer and brought it to the city, and for some reason the mayor's office hasn't acted on it. And so I spent today trying to get some answers on that and didn't. So very disappointing. I guess just disappointed in terms of just seeing the disrespect that was shown to the residents Monday night by the mayor, and then seeing the disrespect in terms of just responding for comment, in terms of just like, why haven't you acted on this deal? So but I do think that there's light at the end of the tunnel.
I hope so, because if not, it's going to hurt us for a very, very long time. I mean, I worry about retirement and the impact it's going to have on that. Being part of the Charter Commission committee to look at that, one of the things that came up was the mayor attending all the city council meetings, and we had a long discussion on that about what does that really mean. And in the commission in the charter, he has the right to leave if requested by himself. So we talked a lot about that, and the point was that he should be there, but it's the city council meeting. So it was explained and discussed how this current mayor, Jajuga, had said, I'll come and do the mayor's report and then leave, because it's really the city council meeting.
Then the chief of staff, will represent me.
So, having understood that, I have respect for that. You go in, you do your business, and you leave.
Not Monday night.
However,
not Monday night.
Common sense would have said, with all of the people there willing to speak and wanting you to hear what they had to say, regardless of what the message was, that would have been a really smart opportunity to sit, listen, and hear what people had to say. So he does leave, most meetings, but come on now. When you have that many people packed in that small of a room to be able to get their point across, it would have been much smarter to stay.
Can I back up a little bit?
Yep.
I'm going to set aside that the chief of police is negotiating with the Superior Officers Union.
Not negotiating, just trying to be a mediator, an unofficial mediator.
You say tomato, I say tomato. But do we know any details about this supposed? deal.
Yes. So reportedly, okay, so the total impact of that contract would have on the city would have been 2.9 million.
The real major
The
worst
real
contract?
number.
Okay.
The real number. Not the
Current one in the budget that was presented.
that is just
The fake one.
a pipe dream number.
2.9 in the next fiscal year.
2.9 in the next fiscal year. Now, what I'm hearing is that this number was even higher than the superior officers expected it to be, and where it escalated. And again, I said this on before, the Quinn bill part of this, and that gives some that bumps up. I believe it bumps up base pay based on
Years of education. Yep.
So
there are some multipliers involved.
and it was much more of a multiplier, and we knew about the multipliers, but it was from their perspective, it was much more of a multiplier than they even expected. So, in a reasonable situation,
Only the city had somebody who could look at a contract and try to figure out how all these things are going to...
and so, yeah.
Really, you ought to look at that in the Charter Commission.
Well, to me, that's,
Hiring somebody
you have an
who
auditor,
can
you have
look at a
solicitor.
contract and, yeah.
I mean, I know people are talking about having a town manager, having a mayor, but you have other positions inside City Hall that should be doing that. And that, to me, is where you need the answers, because that's the oversight.
Yeah.
And the city council is the oversight, but if they're shutting themselves out of the oversight like they did in the last vote, that's shameful.
Yeah.
And that, to me, is something that I am asking those questions in the Charter Commission
You
meetings.
missed my sarcasm
because
font, but yes.
that is unacceptable.
Not at all. So I mean, listen, it's
So we went from 2.9 to what? Where are we? Any idea?
So reportedly, and again, but what Solomon said at the meeting was got it down to 1.7. Now,
something.
By the way, superior officers don't have to. They have a signed contract. Whatever you think of it, it was signed and it was approved by the city council. So, but they know how it looks. So they're coming down, and supposedly there was some agreements in terms of some other aspects that would have definitely brought. I don't. Some of what I've heard. I'll be honest. Some of what I've heard is off the record. I do not want to impede the progress of these negotiations. But it would have. It's a help. It's a help, and it's. The mayor said at the meeting Tuesday night that he was in the middle of impact bargaining with and he's not. I mean, Gallant said the head of the superior officers after the meeting said, "We're not. We haven't met." Mm-hmm. He hasn't. He had one. The representatives of the mayor's office had one meeting with the patrolman 6 weeks ago, and nothing since. So, there's a lot of frustrating stuff going on, but at the same time, as you said, there's positive stuff going on. The show of interest in the residents being a watchdog in this situation, that happened Monday and Tuesday. It's happened over the last week to 10 days. It can't stop.
Nope.
It can't stop. And that's
having gone through that with the stadium, and that's why I turned to the crowd and said the reason why that went through is because enough people, and whether you're for it or against it, it's still the process. Enough people stood up and said, not this time. You're not going to continue to take away or underserve. And if you know me, I mean, here I'm doing this show. I've been around volunteering, putting my money where my mouth is for many, many years. And whether you're for it or against it, it's still benefiting. The kids are still benefiting from it. And that's the basis of this whole show. And that's my issue with the schools right now, because it just seems like I live in a place where those kids are being underserved and they have very little voice. And that's where I have a difficult time, because it's easy to do that when everyone else has their hand up asking for something or expecting more. I struggle with that because you look around the city and there's not the things that there used to be, basketball courts and access to fields and things like that. They're shut out. The stadium's locked. You need permission. The basketball courts are gone. And now we're talking about, okay, we'll cut money from the schools. Well, that means the schools are going to start charging the youth groups more. So, and we already battled that a little bit with the user fees, and that quickly got put aside. But
it's not dead yet.
But that's coming back up.
Yeah.
They're going to turn back to the youth groups and start asking for more when we're already doing a service that the city should be providing.
I don't, again, this is the cynical side of me, but it is proven that the politicians, the lifer politicians are counting on your short attention span. They're counting on it. They almost laugh about it because it's proven out that people just don't stick with things. So we just need to. That's all. And a lot. Andrew Riley. Let me just put that name out there, okay? You want to talk about positives? I mean, holy cow.
Impressive.
How old? 12, 11?
Yeah.
I mean, he's in middle school. He's at the Timony, and in the middle of all this ruckus and adults, tearing each other at the seams. Andrew gets up at Monday's meeting and just gives.
It was flawless.
Like.
I told you when I got back, I'm like, oh, I did terrible. I didn't get to say what I wanted to say, and then this young little kid gets up there and just said his piece. Turned around, sat down, smiled like a 12-year-old.
I love my teachers. Yep. I've learned so much. Giving me the access to band and chorus and drama, it means so much in my life, so much in my friends' lives. Don't take it away.
The other thing they're counting on, though? They're counting on you turning on the people.
Oh yeah, no, they're counting everybody turning on everybody. The school's turning on the police because of this money. The citizens turning on the police because of this money. The one thing they're not counting on is, and I really don't think they were counting on this, for folks to turn back and look at the city. I really don't think
they've got to
they
stay
were.
focused on the city.
Yeah, because this is an amazing city. You've been here a lot longer than I have, but this is an amazing city. There's so many positive things. Tell us about some of the positive things going on, Bill. You got some good things on your phone over there. Usually I'm the one reading, but you start. I got a couple other things, but
yep. Posted today by Ranger Nation, Matt Curran, athletic director, who does not miss a beat. Doesn't matter what month it is, what day it is, holidays. It's a list of class of 2018 students that are going to be playing college athletics. Casey Florence, my neighbor, field hockey at Worcester State. Jacob St. Ange, cross country, Quinnipiac. Katie Swallow, who was on the show, soccer, Western New England. Talia Ennis, soccer, Westfield State. Alec Druin, also on the show, soccer, Barry University. David Kelly, football, Framingham State. Jordan Perdermo, football, baseball, Framingham State, also on the show. This name I'm going to absolutely butcher. Chen Jian Zhao, football, UMass Dartmouth. Abby Sullivan, volleyball, UNH. Hannah McKenna, also on the show, diving, lacrosse, Westfield State. Sydney Hebert, cheer, Westfield State. Kayla Durandi, basketball, New England College. Dante Rivera, basketball, Plymouth State. Evan Hardy, basketball, Northern Essex. Angel Mejia, basketball, Northern Essex.
And those are two new. So we published a lot of this list in Loop Weekly. Those are two that I hadn't seen. This is like a Google Doc that he keeps updating. And congratulations to Evan and Angel.
Yep, that's awesome. They're going to continue to play. Luana Machado, track, Tufts University. Travis Manick, also on the show. Wrestling, Rhode Island College. Joey Regato, baseball, Worcester State. Connor McKenzie, baseball, Nichols College. Brett Blackwell, also on the show. baseball, Assumption.
Is that a new one? Did we know that?
That just came out for me
I
as
thought
well.
so, yeah.
Yep.
Congratulations, Brett. That's awesome.
And we had, someone from Crew on here, Kylie Bell, Merrimack College we knew about, Julia Carter, who we've got to get on this show.
Absolutely.
Crew, UMass Amherst, Amanda Downing, Crew, Tufts, Danny O'Connell, also on the show, lacrosse, Tampa College in Florida, Michael Bowden, lacrosse, also the winner of the Methuen Youth lacrosse scholarship with Hannah McKenna, and Cal Buck, lacrosse, Newbury College, along with Michael, going together. A new program, and Coach Jason Sims talked last week about Bowden trying to partner with us and maybe having a game at the stadium, the city-owned stadium, to try to generate some excitement and some usage of that field, which would be great. But just look at this list of kids. These aren't just the kids going to college. These are the kids that are going to be playing college athletics.
It's outstanding.
Which is fantastic.
All right, so now you got some other news from of the events going on, and by the way, let's just we'll give the shout outs to JG's later and to Methuen Family Healthcare, but let's just call that whole list the Methuen Family Health Center Stars of the Week. So congrats.
Great call.
Yeah.
Great call. Tough one today. Girls tennis lost 4-1.
Gutsy, just the run they made to get into the tournament. Congratulations on the season. Tough for it to end.
Yep. But as we learned when they were on the show, very young team.
Yes.
Very, very young team.
Absolutely.
So a lot of positives. Boys tennis plays tomorrow, which is very exciting for them. They're a little bit higher ranked than the girls, so we're hoping they continue. Saul Cespedes, who was on our show. Saul is a phenomenal young man who dances and gymnastics, and he's actually in the decathlon today and tomorrow. And one of his events that he was struggling with in the past was the jav. And I guess that's an event that he's definitely improved and put a lot of time in, so we're hoping for big things for Saul. Softball will be playing on Sunday or Monday, depending on the winner of Revere and Beverly, and they
are the fourth
ranked team below Concord, Carlisle, Acton, Boxborough, and Arlington. Arlington and them are tied 17-3 for the season record.
Yep.
And then we have 5 kids going to nationals for track. We have Sarah Fragioni, Saul Cespedes, Max Fotino, who will be a senior next year, and then rounding up the last two are Ben Cadet and Stanley Hansey, who are both sophomores. Max, Ben, and Stanley are also playing football. So just another great outing for a bunch of great athletes, and also a new cheerleading coach.
Yeah.
Mikey Hamill.
Mike Hamill. He's coached with the East Celebrity Elite, the Florida Wildcat All-Stars, and has volunteered with Methuen Pop Warner and Methuen High School. Outstanding. That's some tough shoes to walk into, and a program with proven success there. But
I grew up with his dad in Lawrence, and I've known Mikey for a long time. Man, you're talking positive energy.
Yeah.
My daughter's going to be a freshman next year and has been cheering for Pop Honor, was around him. I couldn't be more excited for a young man who definitely puts his time in and brings such a positive atmosphere. And if she ends up making the team at some point over the next 4 years, I think he's going to be excellent at what he does. So big shoes to fill.
Hopefully we can get him on the show.
I would imagine he would love that.
Hopefully we can get Al Delano on the show.
So there is an Al Delano watch. Al's a busy
I feel like
guy.
this is Where's Waldo.
I agree, but it's not Al's fault. It's just, he has a ton of kids and a ton of... He literally does 2 sporting events at the same time in 2 different locations.
Yeah.
So
he's like stem cell research. It's like he split...
Duplicity. Isn't that the Michael Keaton movie where he's... Yes. So I can't blame Al yet.
We have no proof that there's not 3 Al Delanos. That's the only way to explain it a lot of the time.
I will agree. But we're starting a little energy going with posts about getting him on the show, and hopefully that'll happen. But we just talked for 5, 6, 7 minutes straight about all these positive things, and that's really why we signed up for this.
Yeah, I got a few more. Congratulations to former Ranger Kelly Durandi, who was named a captain for the 2018 Assumption volleyball team. Awesome news there. let's see here. Congrats to Hannah McKenna and Michaela Ferrulo, named to the MVC Girls Lacrosse All-Star Team. We mentioned them before in terms of Michaela will return next year, but Hannah's off to Westfield State. Congrats to Seth Pare and Brett Blackwell, named to the MVC Baseball All-Star Team. Seth headed to Clemson, and Brett, as we said before, headed to Assumption. Both will. So Seth is going to be part of the junior ROTC, and it looks like Brett will continue his baseball career with Assumption. So huge congrats there. Softball placed five players after their 17-3 season. Junior Naya Mazzoni, freshman Stephanie Tardogno, named to the MVC All-Conference team. That's outstanding. Also, senior Kelsey, and co-captain Kelsey McGonigal, again,
guest on the show.
A guest on the show. Junior Corey Rizzo, sophomore Jillian McCoy, also named MVC All-Stars. And listen, here's a guy. I'm just a big fan of Jason Smith. I mean, I just see him with swimming and now with softball. You talk about positive energy.
And I didn't think he had a personality.
Oh yeah, serious. Yeah, I mean,
I never said that, by the way.
No, I know. I'm just messing with it. Coach named MVC Coach of the Year. So huge congratulations.
And we have one of those guys sitting about 5 feet from us.
We do, and he's coming in next.
And he's going to announce
Wallace.
some of his athletes that competed in the last event. We want him to recognize them and talk that up, and about the growth of Unified Sports. And I've got a little announcement to make myself that's going on in Methuen that I'll bring up when Eddie gets up here. That's exciting. That's a nice
tease. I like that.
To what he's talking about.
We're going to find out after the break, apparently.
Absolutely.
All right, we will take a quick break here on, what are we doing? We're doing Ranger Nation Radio, presented by AMC Urgent Care. Back right after the break.
We're flying up no ceiling when we in our zone. I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet. I feel that hot blood in my body.
All right, a big shout out to the folks over at AFC Urgent Care. They've been big supporters of us since the beginning as the title sponsor of Ranger Nation Radio, and we are big fans of theirs. AFC Urgent Care, the right care right now. You'll never need an appointment. Got that persistent cough and cold, that cut that needs a few stitches, or need a sports physical and don't want to wait weeks to get into your primary doctor? AFC's streamlined approach helps you be seen quickly and feel better fast. In Methuen, in the Merrimack Street Medical Professionals Building, 380R Merrimack Street. In North Andover as well, in the Burton Grill Plaza. 8 to 8 Monday to Friday, 8 to 5 Saturday and Sunday. Go to afcurgentcare.com for more details. All right, up next, yes, our friends, the law offices of Arthur Broadhurst. You need an experienced litigator? Arthur Broadhurst has more than 27 years of practicing law and will fight for you. He's licensed in Massachusetts and New Hampshire and specializes in criminal and accident cases, mortgage loan closings, and town zoning and permitting for land use and licensing. Arthur's represented us in the State House as a former state representative. Now, let him represent you. Call the law offices of Arthur J. Broadhurst at 978-327-5128 or go online to merrimackvalleylaw.com.
Open up the champagne, pop. It's my house, come on, turn it up.
Flo Rida.
Knock on the door and the night begins.
Back here on Ranger Nation Radio, presented by AFC Urgent Care, the right care right now. Want to tell you about JG's Ice Cream and Fun Center. They are celebrating 35 years with a big bang. Buy one, get one free on batting cages, bumper cars, mini golf, go-karts, and get a fun pass for just $21. That includes all of the above: the batting cages, the bumper cars, the mini golf, the go-karts, and an ice cream or a slushie. Are you allowed slushies, by the way?
I'm allowed whatever I want.
All right,
Yep.
There it is.
As long as you plan for it.
Yep.
Maybe that's my problem. I'm not planning well. I'm not planning well enough. JG's is #1 for family fun, birthday parties, and group outings. Check out the June 5th Loop
Are you mocking
Weekly.
us, by the way?
No, ma. Come on, I'm from New England. I'm from Maine. I got it even worse. Check out the June 5th Loop Weekly for these coupons. Visit them at 602 Lowell Street in Methuen, and visit their ice cream stand at 327 South Broadway in Salem as well. JG sponsors all of the guests on Ranger Nation Radio. Each one of them, and we now have them. I didn't bring them, of course, but
The ongoing saga.
yeah. When you just will Al Delano be on the show first, or will I present the gift cards to our
I'm
guests?
going there
first?
myself. I live right there.
Where do you bet?
I think it's going to be Al.
You
I think it's going to be Al.
Okay, now
that's
I
your
got
challenge.
Now I got to come through because Rich has already delivered them. So, all right. So, huge thanks to Rich, the whole Giuffrida family, and for sponsoring Ranger Nation Radio, for sponsoring the Peaks of the Valley in Loop Weekly. Just been a great partner for us. Huge thank you to JG's. Okay, so on with us now, the Unified sports coach at Methuen High School, Ed Wallace. A huge thank you for being part of Ranger Nation Radio.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Okay, so let's just start for the folks that may be watching this for the first time. What is Unified Sports?
So, Unified Sports is put on through the Special Olympics in Massachusetts, the Massachusetts branch, and it's basically 50% general education students competing with students with intellectual disabilities, and it's just a way of keeping the competition competitive, and to show inclusion, and to really get these guys involved in sports that they haven't had a chance in the past to really be a part of.
It's phenomenal. I mean, so it started with basketball at Methuen, yes?
It did.
And that started last fall? Or was that
this fall? This previous fall, yeah.
Fall 2017. Huge success with that, and just showed unbelievable school spirit in terms of the support from the entire Methuen High School community. Is it fair to say, Bill, from what you saw?
From afar, not knowing about it, finding out about it, as it developed and went along, just watching the awards night, it just belonged. It was just exactly what the intent is, exactly what Eddie just talked about, as far as it just becoming a fabric of Ranger Nation and Methuen High School. It was amazing to watch. It really was.
Every person has a spirit in them, has a competitive spirit in them. However we foster it is part of it. And you strike me, and again, we just met probably 45 minutes ago, but from everything that I've seen and now meeting you in person, you seem like somebody who's not very comfortable with praise. You seem, you're not doing it for that. Is that accurate to say?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very humble, and it's not what I'm about.
So we're now going to praise you.
Oh, thank you.
Ed was named the MIAA Unified Sports Coach of the Year. The banquet was about 3 weeks ago?
About 2 weeks.
2 weeks ago. It's just a huge for a first year program, just a huge accomplishment. And just to see what's happened between the basketball and now with track, it's just so inspiring, and like it's hard to say. It's like this is what should be. So this is normal. This is what should be. It's not like good for them, like condescendingly. Yeah. Everyone deserves to compete, and what you saw from basketball and now track, you guys are kicking butt and taking names.
Absolutely.
So we started the show talking about some numbers that we didn't like.
Yeah.
Wait till you hear the numbers that he's going to talk about involvement and the growth, just right off the bat? So I know we were talking a little bit earlier.
Yeah, so basketball, I'll be honest with you, I was approached by my boss to coach the Unified basketball team. I don't have a lot of experience with basketball, a lot of experience with coaching and other sports.
Now, your boss is?
Kevin Geary. He's the special education
Just want to make sure we shout outs.
Yeah, absolutely. He said that I think you'll be great for the position. So I humbly accepted, and it was just a huge awakening moment for me. Like to be able to coach these guys, it's so rewarding and it's such an amazing thing to be a part of. And we started with 8 students on the basketball team. And it was really just confined to one class. And then after the word got out and basketball season ended, and I found out that there was opportunity to coach track, I signed up right away. And we ended up doubling our numbers and getting more kids involved. And we ended up with about 16 athletes in track. And we all as a team went to sectionals, and everybody placed in the top 6. Every single student placed in the top 6. We had 4 kids qualify for sectionals, which was a week ago in Milford, and they all placed within the top 7, and one of our students placed top 4 in the 400.
All right, so who's the top 4 in the 400?
Richie Tran.
Richie Tran.
Yeah, Richie
Congrats.
Tran. He doesn't look like a kid that would be running the 400, but he perseveres, and he's always up at the top of the pack, and he's a great kid, great kid.
And then the 4 that regionals, sectionals. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so we all went to sectionals, and we lost the flag. We all went
flag down, but not fully. All right.
We all went to sectionals, and we had 4 kids qualify for states. They were Casey Almonte, Chris Icavella, Eva Tasker, and Richie Tran.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations to all of you. Huge, and congratulations to your families, to the families.
Absolutely.
I mean, just like we talk about with every athlete we've had on this show, it's not just, there's a full picture there with the family who support, the friends that support the athletes, and of course the coaches behind the team. And you're 23.
Yes, that's correct.
What you wouldn't give to have that energy of a 23-year-old?
And again, it's not like an ageism thing, but it's like that you get it, and we have there's so many folks, just like yourself, that are just so involved and just creating such positive energy. And we didn't plan, like we've been wanting to have you on for a couple weeks here, and so I guess it's especially timely because there's been some negative energy around special needs and around budgets, and this is the results of giving every kid a platform.
Yeah, absolutely. I grew up in Methuen. I graduated from Methuen High School in 2012. I've had a great experience with all the coaches that I've had, and it's so great to be able to give back to the community and be a part of it. So I'm really humble and pleased to be a part of it.
Ed, can I ask a question? Can you talk about the general ed kids who are in this program?
Sure.
Where they come from and what type of these guys?
So yeah,
great kids.
We opened it up to a lot of different abilities. So if you were an athlete, if you weren't a student athlete, if you wanted to just be a part of something different, we had a variety of different kids. Off the top of my head, Hannah McKenna was a part of the track. We had a Michael Martin, this young lady Mildred Reyes, who is also on the track team. Just unbelievable kids, and they really were there to help guide as they were assistant coaches, and but they were also athletes as well. And basketball specifically, I had a lot of students who are in my behavioral program at the high school participate, and to see them interact with the special needs students was just amazing, an amazing thing to see, and it was really cool, really cool.
Just as a side note, Mildred Reyes graduated, yes. if I'm thinking of the same person that was covered in the Eagle Tribune.
Yep, she was just graduating.
I mean, but if you didn't see the coverage by the Eagle Tribune, now listen, I'm the owner of Loop Weekly, so, but I mean, when people do good things, it doesn't matter who does them, and the Eagle Tribune brought to light Mildred's story as part of their graduation coverage. I did not realize all the incredible medical stuff that she's been through and had to fight back from, and then to get involved and give back. It's
about opportunity.
Geez.
It's about opportunity, and unfortunately, Tim, these are the things that get cut. And this is, my concern when that flag again. When I talk about, youth and keeping programs. So we have our Mr. Riley that gets up there as a 5th grader. Don't take away the band. It's not just about the academics. It's about the whole student and offering services and programs for everybody to get involved and it just creates better student athletes, better kids, better academics. It just creates a culture and an environment that you can't start cutting away at that. And programs like this and opportunities like this are the things that get cut because, there's only a few kids or special ed's already. No, the special ed services are mandated, but they're also deserved for the students. And that's the piece. I love hearing about mandates because that's a fact. But these kids also deserve an opportunity to participate and to belong and be part of things. It's how you do it and the smart ideas that you do that creates that environment. And that's the part where I think many people are short-sighted.
Yes. I mean, it's and when it becomes a line item and a number, that's where we really get lost. And here, and listen, we're not running a telethon here, folks. Part of me feels like this is like I'm Jerry Lewis right now, because this is a phenomenal story, and these are the stories we tell every week on this show. The kids that come in here every week.
And the coaches, that are given hours and hours of time above and beyond what's asked of them, above and beyond what the stipend is. I mean, Matt Curran, for crying out loud, the guy, never stops texting. It's all of the information out there, all the success is there because he's putting it out there. That's not part of his job description 24/7. But he started something that the kids are benefiting from, and he's not putting it down. And look, this is the reward of it. Ranger Nation Radio is derived from Ranger Nation, which is a bunch of people that want to promote not just an athlete, a student athlete, and great opportunities and programs that are helping a ton of kids, and it's just growing and growing. So don't cut it.
With that, let's take a quick break. We definitely got much more with Ed Wallace here, but let's take a quick break. Get in the folks who are helping us put on this show. We will be right back at you after the break here on Ranger Nation Radio, presented by AFC Urgent Care.
I guess that I forgot I had a choice. I let you push me past the breaking point. I stayed for nothing.
More show in a minute, but let's talk about Independent Tire and Auto. Mary and her crew will take care of all of your automotive needs. She's been in the business for over 35 years, the past 18 running her own shop. And they're not just tires. They do wheel alignments, tune-ups, brakes, suspensions, shocks and struts, air conditioning maintenance, and so much more. 20 Old Clark Road in North Andover, just off of 495 next to the Lawrence Airport. They're there 8 to 5, Monday to Friday. Mary believes it's her privilege to serve you, to earn and keep your trust. Not too many mechanics you can say that about these days. Check out Independent Tire online at independenttirema.com or call 978-689-3900. That's Independent Tire and Auto, great supporters of Ranger Nation. Okay, next up, yes, Superior Cleaners and Tailors. We've all been there. You spilled coffee on the nice dress shirt, had to go back to work looking like an idiot. Well, you gotta get to Superior Cleaners and Tailors. They've been voted the best dry cleaners in the Merrimack Valley for the past 2 decades, and for good reason. Russ Vaquera, his son Justin, and the entire Superior crew take great care with your garments. Whether it's storage, dry cleaning, alterations, wedding gowns, comforters, quilts, or draperies, Superior will treat your garments with the best care. Visit them in Methuen at 234B Pleasant Street, where they're open 7 to 6 Monday to Friday and 8 to 4 Saturday. Also in Lawrence at 37 Essex Street. Or go to superior-cleaners.com for more details. I love talking about my man Val Davila. It's a dream to own your own business, and Val and Susan Davila made that a reality in February 2013. They started with just 2 insurance carriers, but now Right in Place Insurance for Progressive, Safeco, Pilgrim, Plymouth Rock, and Mapfre, just to name a few. Need auto insurance, renters, commercial, or home? Davila and DeFusco prides itself in having lifelong roots in the Merrimack Valley. Put their experience to work for you. Visit them at 225 Broadway or call 978-241-7950 for a free quote, or visit them online at daviladefusco.com. Back here on Ranger Nation Radio, presented by AFC Urgent Care. Want to get a couple of more sponsors in the mix here. So family's everything. It's why it's right in the name at Methuen Family Pharmacy, where you can get pharmacy services by the Methuen community for the Methuen community. You don't have to be a patient of Methuen Family Healthcare to use the pharmacy either. Drop by 147 Pelham Street in Methuen, right off exit 47 near the junction of 213, and get your medication from the friendly faces you already see in your neighborhood. Learn more at glfhc.org/pharmacy. And then there was Canaan and Percone. Whether it's a leaky faucet or a 10-story building, Canaan and Percone Plumbing and Heating have you covered. Billy Canaan, Tom Percone, and their crew can handle any job. With summer coming, get your AC tuned up. I mean, bonus plug, Lisa just said. Get your AC tuned up. Kitchen and bathroom remodeling, they can do it too. Waters, heaters, boilers, sprinkler systems, and more. Canaan and Percone is the name to trust in the Merrimack Valley. Call them at 978-685-0880 or go online to Canaan Percone Plumbing and Heating.com. They are wicked good sponsors. So really quick story time with Tim. I was in junior achievement in high school, and this was in South Portland, Maine. And I loved junior achievement. I got to go to the national conference of junior achievement in Bloomington, Indiana, and I will tell you, that was like my first, not first, because I did some other, I went to Russia as a 10th grader. But this was my first, like, domestic, really, travel away. And the Maine accent, I've kind of lost the Maine accent with broadcasting, but I'll tell you what, the Maine accent played very, very well. I like every girl at the conference wanted to hear me say lobster. Lobster. Yeah. So, and my wife doesn't want to hear that story right now. So, apologies, Debbie. Happy early anniversary. Anyway, back to the show.
We digress.
Okay. You teased an announcement.
I did.
What do you got?
So, obviously, what you're doing is excellent. It's how it should be. But I'm also part of the Methuen Youth Basketball Association, MYBA. Dan LaBelle is the new president. Took over for your guest tomorrow, Steve Saba, who had done it for 18 years. And Dan has been working diligently behind the scenes and has kind of the blessing of the MYBA to start a unified middle school basketball team.
Wow.
Through the MYBA. So we are in the very beginning stages of just trying to figure out, how do we do this? Where do we go? How many kids? So we're looking at, as the pilot program, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. We're not sure how many kids we're going to get, whether we have, enough for a couple of teams, whether we try to compete against other teams. So very, very beginning stages. But as long as students and athletes, and just basically the same concept as what Eddie's doing at the high school, sign up it's going to happen. And Dan LaBelle is personally going to be, running it, reffing, doing whatever. Myself, I'm going to be part of it. Pam Bryant, who is probably your biggest fan, peppering myself and Tim. I want Eddie Wallace on that show. She's a project assistant at Methuen at the Marsh. Connor, who has been refereeing for youth basketball, has already said he'll do it. I'm not worried about the volunteers and participants, but this is something we're just very excited about, and it just has to happen. And a big part of it is what you've kind of started and the people around you have kind of promoted, and it's what I love about this city and Ranger Nation, and it's just, you see something great, you jump on, and so we're hoping over the next few years, you're going to start having some young kids come up through
feeder program.
Yeah, and just like that, Ed, you have a feeder program.
Absolutely. I actually had the opportunity to meet with Dan and just to talk about like what to expect and everything, and it's such a cool thing to happen, and it's something that youth sports is missing a little bit, and it's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be awesome.
And I think the neat thing is most of the leagues are very inclusive. You don't turn people away, as a coach for the last 25 years of all different things. But I think the part of the discussion that we had, because some of us are involved in special ed and do this for a living, is there's kids and parents that are nervous.
Yes.
And it's not that they don't trust the league or the program or the coaches. It's just there's a lot that goes into having kids with special needs, and there's a lot of trust there. So by having something that like a unified team, it gives you that sense of, okay, everyone here gets why we're here, and just kind of foster an environment that's safe, but also has the competitive feel that just includes everybody. And that's the piece that I think the board members, as we started talking about, got it. Like, okay, we're open and we're inclusive, but now I see what you're saying. You want something that's even more inclusive, that gets everybody the opportunity. And just to see Dan up in front of the group talking and his passion, and he's a ex-high school coach, and he's running this humongous league in Methuen, and he just has a whole different twinkle in his eye about doing something that's just unique and different, and it's awesome. It's just part of this, man. I just want to say this guy, I coach a little bit. You coach, my son in 8th grade for Pup Honor until you went off to school, and I've known you, since you were little.
Yeah.
And I told you that when you left, I was bummed. And we had a great team and a great year, and we went pretty far. But you were in the beginning, man. You had the
spark.
You do. You have something about you that just people hear you and listen and want to kind of run through walls or do things for you, and keep that going, because and Coach Ryan just posted. You're the new Methuen High School freshman football coach.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Some breaking news again on Ranger Nation Radio.
Awesome. So, I mean, Eddie, just tell us, he mentioned, Bill, that's your name, right?
Yes.
Bill mentioned spark. Tell us just, and just the courage to break through those fears. Tell us what you saw from the first day of maybe a lot of those kids not really having ever played or been given the opportunity to. Tell me what you saw from that first day through sectionals.
Right. So it's a unique position where you have students who are, it's kind of like a clean slate. In regular athletics, a lot of kids have played at young ages and have played a lot and are very competitive and have a lot of the technique down. But to see students who have never competed and have never been exposed to these kind of things go from brand new at it to competing at a high level and at a level that it's amazing to see. It really brought tears to my eyes in certain circumstances.
I wasn't trying to be Barbara Walters or anything, get you to cry, but I mean, I was going to ask you, do you have to bring a tissue to?
Absolutely.
And listen, by the way, I challenge you. Okay, I challenge you when basketball starts up. You're having a bad day. Go to one of these games. Go to one of these practices. Go to one of these games, and I swear to you, you will see it. You see it in a heartbeat. If you don't walk away with that, with a smile, with a renewed just a renewed belief in people and what we could do together as a community,
but also just what people do of all skills and abilities with an opportunity to compete at something. And I think that's the piece for me that for so many years, kids, adults that had disabilities that just weren't allowed to do things. And I think that's the piece where when I hear about special education being talked about in budgets and things, do we want to take a look back? And you keep talking about history, Tim, and how we're not learning from history. Well, in our very near, history in the past, people weren't allowed to do things.
That's some bad history.
It is, and that's the part where I keep saying, stop talking about it as a budget or a line item. These are kids and human beings that deserve, that have the right to be educated and to participate in sports. And if the system is broken and the fact that, there's some things that are going on, let's fix that. Let's talk about it. But we're not going to do it at the expense of opportunities for kids to compete, because it is infectious. And you talk about a feeder program, we all joke, but we're serious. We want kids in middle school, and then like Dan talked about, on when I talked to him about this, and then at that point, just like the MYBA is, 3rd, 4th grade, all the way up, why can't you have that as well?
Absolutely.
And that's the piece we're talking about here is it starts somewhere, and then it just kind of grows from there, which is very exciting.
All right, so we're wrapping up here. You got any shout-outs you want to give to folks just before we let you go?
Shout out to my mom and my family at home watching.
Absolutely. I think you've got some support on the comment stream. Huge shout out to you.
Oh,
and just thanks for coming in. Thanks for everything you're doing. And you're gonna see it. You're gonna see it grow and grow. I mean, and congratulations to you on being at the beginning of it.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Quick shout out myself here. Yeah. Tom Ryan posted about the new freshman football coach here. There's also a Methuen High School football fundraiser going on.
Yes.
There's links all over Facebook. If you're not sure, you can't find it, post right here in a comment, and we'll kind of send it to you. The football team has so many kids that play, all the equipment and just extra things that are going on. Another group of coaches that put in a ton of times, off-season workouts. I mean, you're going to be part of it very soon. Summer camps and things like that. So try to find the link and donate $10, $20, $50, whatever you can. That money goes directly to the football players. Which is very important.
One more note that we kept meaning to get in here. The Spring Athletic Sports Awards Night, just if you haven't heard yet, the time is going to be moved till 5 p.m. on Tuesday, June 12th, so that we can get everybody out to the public hearings and the vote afterwards. So the time's changed to 5 o'clock, and that's in the auditorium.
Yep.
5 o'clock, Nicholson Auditorium at the high school. And then get out afterwards, folks. The fight's not done. Get out to the public hearings. Get out to the votes. That vote might not happen on Tuesday, but the more you're there, the more you're going to make sure that everybody's going to get the money they deserve in this battle.
Most of those city councilors, Tim, are doing a lot of work.
Oh, yeah.
So call them up. Be on their side. Give them the benefit of the doubt. They're working hard. They've been up late most nights. I saw the superintendent give a shout out to almost all of the counselors that reached out to her and did their homework. The counselors have to do that. George, pick up the phone, do some homework, call some people up, ask questions before the meeting, which would really help you be able to be a better educated city councilor.
Right. And one thing in terms of Ryan Hamilton, I just want to give Ryan a shout out because Ryan couldn't have said it any better in that meeting. It's a very difficult time to believe in your politicians, and this is a new council. Believe in them to do the right thing until they don't.
And they did that night.
And they did.
They were going through all the other budget items that came up and asking questions. Why are we picking up trash for private businesses that are for profit? Okay, we're not voting on this because this makes no sense.
Yep.
I don't care if my trash doesn't get picked up July 1st because we're overspending for other people. That's the job of the city council. And when things get put off and asked in a delayed way to hopefully get it to pass because there's not enough time, say no, stand your ground, and show that we're not doing that in Methuen anymore.
Lou, Bill's paying for the bonus time this week,
That's okay.
so. Back at you next week. Catch us tomorrow, 11 a.m. Looped In Live. On Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube. Catch this show all throughout the week on demand, and we will see you next week here on Ranger Nation Radio, presented by AFC Urgent Care. Fight or the thing, bitch up on the ocean, that's a big Titanic. I like to move it.